Hi, and welcome to Brush Tips with Cheri, the masked painter edition. So today we're going to paint a painting that I forgot at the studio because this is our first TV show back from being on quarantine. But really, I'm going to take my mask off and then I'm going to let you guys try to figure out who this is.
Who am I?
Like the masked singer. So some of you know Erin. You can take your mask off now. There we go. Secret's out. There's Erin. She's painted with us before. You've probably also seen her on our Brush Tips page. Well, I better not throw this in that thing and get paint all over it. This is not mine. This is Vance's. So yeah, we can hang it right there. Perfect. So yes. So today we're going to wing it. We're going to go by what I painted at the studio. It's a sunset. An orange sunset, orange water, and then nice little trees around it and a little bit of land in the background. So this show's going to be pretty epic because this is...
It's the masked edition, and we're winging it.
Yes. So it's going to be great. So we'll have our brushes over here. We have our Big Daddy brushes. Big Daddy. Then we have a smaller, like rectangle kind of brush. And then we also have a rounded brush. So we might not even use that rounded brush, and that's okay. And then here's our fun paint palette. We have orange, white, yellow, phthalo blue, brown, and black. Okay? Are we ready, Erin?
I was born ready, Cheri.
All right. So we're going to start with the blue in the middle because you know what happens when you hit blue with orange.
It's ugly.
Yeah, it makes like mud. So let's start with the blue and just pick a spot that you want your horizon to be, okay? And then just put it on there. And I would say maybe like a couple inches long. And don't forget about your sides, Erin, like we always do.
I always forget my sides.
Me too.
Okay.
So Erin has been doing all kinds of great things. If you guys don't know, she now works at the studio with me. You could check out our page, check out our shows during the quarantine that we did. They were not very good, so I apologize.
We did do an epic Pass the Paintbrush, though, that you came up with.
Oh, yes, we did do a great video called Pass the Paintbrush, which was super great. Erin did all the editing. For all your editing needs, don't come to me.
Or me.
Oh, yeah, right. You did so good. So I learned this little trick one time. You know how I do like the circle, and I tell people like with the circle, go in a circular motion until you feel like you have a good circle going, and then touch your canvas. So if you want to make a straight line, you start here, and then you look at point B and go all the way across, and it's supposed to make a perfectly straight line.
This is point B?
Yeah, go from point A to
I know
point
my
B.
ABCs.
But look at B while you're doing it.
This is impossible. I'm not looking. Follow directions.
I mean, it is a little bit straighter. You got to stand in front of it here because we're painting at an angle. So for those of you at home that are painting straight forward, you don't have to worry about getting an unstraight line. Or if you really, really want it super straight, just grab a ruler and make a line across, either in pencil or chalk. That looks good.
Looks better.
All right, let's rinse this blue off real quick. Really good because we don't want it in our orange. Well, I got a lot of blue still on my brush. That's okay. All right, so we're going to take this orange and we're going to start up here at the top and just let this blue dry over the next couple minutes. Look at all that blue I still have in there. Whoops.
Does it make it like brown? Oh, me too. It does. It makes it brown.
It's all right. We'll just clean that out real good again. Perfect. And, you know, with the summer months coming up and you painting, check the humidity level of your paint. Sometimes you have to wet it down. See how fast this is drying up? Do you feel it on your thing?
Yeah, it's super dry.
So all the humidity outside in the air, believe it or not, affects the humidity inside too, even if you have an air condition running. So you might want to have to add a little bit of water to your paint, and that's okay. You can also grab some yellow too and pull some yellow in there, Erin. So it looks super pretty, just adding that yellow. You could also, if you like reds in a sunset, you could do reds too.
Some yellow. Oh.
Yeah. Super fancy.
Oh, it's pretty.
So, here we
Canvases
go.
are super dry.
They're what? Yeah, I know.
These are the ones that were at my house, though, and my house is like dry all the time.
Is it?
Yeah.
We can wet, whoops, oops. What'd I tell you? We don't know what's gonna happen here.
Epic.
At,
The sunset scene of epic proportions.
yes, I told you, there was something that was gonna happen. There's always something that happens here, right? Sometimes I drop canvases, sometimes it's just a big mess. I mean, it happens, you know? Look, I just splashed paint on my face.
Oh, that's pretty. Extra makeup. Did you do orange? More orange?
I did more orange than anything.
Okay.
I wet my canvas too, so that's why it looks so dingy, because I used the dirty water. If you want, you can change your water in between the blue and the orange too. Because it is a tricky color to do with the blue. Yeah, these are
Wow.
crazy dry. You can always take canvas too and run it underwater. Have you ever done that?
No, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, it just shrinks it back up. You know, sometimes you get a canvas and it's super loose here.
Yeah.
So what I do is I go and
kinda annoying.
I put it like this, and I wet the back of it real good, and then I let it dry overnight, and it becomes a real firm canvas again.
I just learned something new today, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, and you can also rinse off a painting too. So this acrylic paint,
Rinse it off?
yeah, if it's fresh, you can go and just run it under hot water, and it's gonna clean your canvas. You might still have like some dye left from like the blue, or sometimes black will leave marks, but you can go and rinse a whole canvas off and start fresh. I know, sometimes we have to do that.
Tricks of the trade.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Fun,
that.
fun. So we know that a lot of people were looking for fun things to do during quarantine, and painting was definitely one fun thing that a lot of you did, and we thank you for that. Just tuning into our Facebook page and watching the reruns of the show and going to watch WCTV and watching through the on-demand. That was super awesome too. I love it. I don't even have my reference picture, so I'm just kind of like really winging it. So when you're all done with the sky, what I do is I take a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white, and it's okay, Erin, if you're not caught up yet.
I think I'm there.
And I'm going to
Doesn't
take a
need
little
red.
bit of yellow and a little bit of white, and I'm going to run it down the water. There's a little bit of orange still left in my brush, and that's okay. I want it to look sunsetty.
That's a lot of orange I just put in there. I'm getting carried away with my orange over here.
That's okay. Look how dark my orange is. You know, you can always grab a little bit of white and orange too. And look, if you run it through that orange, look at how pretty that is. It pulls some of that yellow.
Ooh, I like that. Kind of gives it like some coral colors too.
Yeah, I love
Coral.
I love coral colors. That fire red that we have at the studio, that makes a real pretty coral color.
Oh, so I'm doing
Don't
yellow.
mind my drip through the sky. Oops. My bad.
The sky does drip though, in your defense.
Yeah. All right. So when I do water, I add where I want the sun to reflect at into the water first, and then I come from the sides and like lightly lift up once I get to the water, or to where I want the sun to meet the water. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense to me. I love this. I think I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I gotta add some more orange to my palette here.
I need some sunset.
Do you need more
smell.
orange?
Not yet.
Okay, so the orange is almost empty. I didn't fill the paints.
Uh-oh.
I filled other ones, but I must not have filled that one.
I think I'm good on the orange. So
So I continue to take the orange, and don't forget about your sides, and feather it into the yellow. And you can even grab a little bit of white too, because that's super pretty when it goes up against the yellow. And then we're going to come back over it again with some yellow and white just to get that hard line out. So this is almost like we're moving a little bit fast to try to get this on here, because I want to not let it dry too much where the sunset in the water meets the water. So that way we can add that real nice line over it. It's really nice to be back in the studio and being able to hang out with all of you guys again. I've missed doing the show.
yeah, thanks for having me today.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I'm grateful that you were like, yes. I was a little nervous. I was like, maybe I shouldn't go alone. So no, I was like, please, Erin, come with
I'll
me.
save you.
All the shows that I've done, but I was super excited about this one because,
After all the craziness.
yeah, for sure. And it has been. But our motto, over at Brush Tips is just to create artists and be amazing and bring light to people's lives. So, that's why we do the show, or I do the show too, is because I really want people to be able to have a resource to come to and just create. So,
I love it.
it's important to me, but it was super nice to get back here today. And feather, feather, feather. And don't forget about your bottom. Erin, I do this all the time where I forget to paint the bottom of my canvas, and then I hang it up and it's not so great.
And then it's white.
And then it's white.
I have not painted my bottom either. Whoops.
And my side's up on that other side because it's hard to see the other side unless I just rubbed all up against my painting. Oops.
I always have paint all over me when I get home from Brush Tips.
Yeah, I know, me too.
In places that I'm like, how did I get paint on the back of my arm? Or like on my stomach?
I get paint on my stomach all the
How
time
does that
too.
happen?
I don't know.
I don't even know. It's crazy.
My phone's been acting up, and over here in town, I guess there's 2 cell phone towers down. And my phone's been acting up, so yesterday I went to go take my phone to the store to get it looked at, and they're like, are you from the Wadsworth area? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, what's the address? I gave them the address, and 2 towers are down. The studio's right in the middle, but they took it in the back, and this guy comes up, and he's like, so that's like a bunch of red stuff caked into your microphone.
Oh no, this is a funny story.
So over this little period of time that we had off,
it was all bad.
we were filling little paint cups at the studio, and Erin had a red paint and she was filling it, and I had my phone sitting there, and she squirted the red paint and it exploded everywhere, all over my phone, everything. It was a crazy mess, but it was hilarious.
I felt so bad.
No, it was so funny though. So I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Oops.
Did they replace your phone?
No, I think I'm just gonna go get a new one.
I am so sorry. I still feel so bad about that.
It's not you, it's
the red paint.
Phone. Yeah.
I blame the red paint.
Yeah, I do too. So I'm gonna grab some more red and some more white and yellow, and I'm gonna mix these together on the side here so you could see that. And then again, I'm just gonna really lightly feather because I want this to be more on top than the orange. So I'm gonna really, really lightly feather this through here. And you see how it's doing that? It's like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it kind of adds
It
just a
glows.
little dusting. Yeah, just a little tiny dusting on top of that orange. And that's what we look for when we're looking at sunsets, is those like really like cool off rays. Is that what we would call it? Like
Off rays? Offset rays?
Yeah, like the offset rays of the sunset.
Gosh.
We have some pretty epic sunsets here in Ohio, though.
We do.
Really nice ones. Okay, so I'm going to put my big brush away because I'm going to come in with my little brush and play around with the sunset. I'm going to grab just some straight yellow. I'm going to add it right in here. Oh, you know what? Before I forget, we better put the sun on. So with the sun, you're going to go in a circular motion until you feel like you have a good circle going. And just put the sun anywhere that you want. Oops, I don't think I made a very good sun. I'm going to let that dry a second. Well, I don't want to say put the sun anywhere you want because it's got to be like in direct line with the sun setting into the water. And then I'm going to really, really lightly just kind of feather into this blue with this yellow and kind of play around over here with it.
Your medium?
I'm not going down into the yellow. Yeah, I use the smaller. I switched to this
Okay.
like softer brush here.
For the sun too?
Yeah. And I made the sun a little bit more yellow.
I'm so slow today.
That's okay.
So above? Oh.
Yeah, I went a little bit higher with this one. The one at the studio, I actually sat right on the blue part, but I didn't want to do that this round. Every one is different. Like every time I paint, it's always different. And that's going to be the same with you guys. Like no two paintings ever look the same. So sometimes I'll paint one and I'll copy off the same other painting during, you know, like this situation or when I'm teaching one online or whatever. And it never is the same. Isn't that weird?
I see here too. Like mine never look the same. I mean, they obviously look similar, but.
Yeah, same with mine. They look similar, but not
an exact
yeah,
replica.
and it also kind of, I feel like it depends on what kind of mood we're in too. Like when we're painting, if we're rushed or we're, you know, in a really good mood. And then the music that I have playing too, if I have some kind of, you know, super sad music, or if I have some like Alanis Morissette going.
Alanis is where it's at.
It's a little bit darker. Yeah, I love Alanis Morissette.
Me too. She's definitely influential to me.
Yeah.
My music. Love it.
I love it. Yeah, Erin's a great like singer too. I said like singer. She is a singer.
Depends on the day. 'Cause some days it's just not good.
So when you do the sunset, you want it to get a little bit smaller as you go down. So remember that. You don't have to make it all, you know, super wide all the way down. All right, I'm going to hit the sun real quick. It's a little bit of white just to hide some of that orange. And then I'm going to let that dry while I come down here and start on the trees. Okay. So the trees, I have a little bit of black and brown. And let me clean off this brush real quick. Actually, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to clean off my big brush. I'm going to add a little bit of black to the blue real quick.
Oh.
Ooh, that brush. A little bit of black, a little bit of blue in here. See how it just kind of darkens that up? Adds a little bit of texture looking kind of to it.
Just a tiny bit.
Here, you want this one? It already has black on
Oh,
it.
look at you. Thank you.
Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to grab that
Cheri's
medium
the best,
brush again.
guys.
Yeah,
I cannot do life
because
without
I
her.
share my brushes. I share my stuff. So you're going to take a little bit of black, and this is where like the tree line is going to be.
This campus is so.
Make it kind of mountainy. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Oops, I just used blue there.
I love that we're winging this. It actually makes it more fun.
Yeah, I know. I just hate that they don't get to see
I
the
know.
finished product right away, and then I'm like, oh,
It's
well.
a surprise.
Yeah. It's like the masked painting.
Like for real.
Yeah. Can you guess what we're painting today? Terry messaged me and she was like, what are you painting today? I'm like, I don't know, I'm still in bed. It was like 10 o'clock. I have no idea what I'm painting today.
Something.
So here's the black line that I did across here, and that's like the horizon part, that's like the land. Then I'm gonna pull a little bit of brown, a little bit of black, and I'm just gonna start with the trees. So what it is like, it's a, what do they call that? It's not like a lagoon, but like you're looking from the woods into the water. So it's like just like a little opening in the trees. Let's call it that. Yeah, and we're just gonna keep adding tree, tree, tree. Thicken it up towards the bottom.
The Blue Lagoon.
Yeah, that's a movie.
It is. It's a really old movie, isn't it?
Yeah. You can add a couple little leaves out on it too. And just keep adding branches really lightly. This one might be better than the one at the shop, so I might be okay with that.
The one at the shop was really good. I loved it.
No, I don't think it was. I think you're delusional, Erin.
Some days I am. In all honesty.
We're always our worst critic, aren't we?
Agreed. That is a very true statement. Sometimes you just got to step back and take a look at it and reassess the situation.
Yes, we tell people that all the time, don't we?
All these trees. I am
Yeah.
so behind right now. It's crazy.
It's okay. You could finish up later.
This is true.
That I cannot.
Cheri's like a pro at trees.
I cannot finish up later. I am not a pro at trees.
She
but
is.
I appreciate it.
She's like the best tree person ever.
I
real.
get that all the time from people, and really, you know what I blame it on? When I was younger, we lived in an area where there were like woods in the back, and I would go back there and just sit back there. So maybe that's where I've got my great trees, because I would just sit there and look at trees.
Huh. That makes sense.
Maybe. I don't know. All right. So you can also just add some like brushage, shrubbery down here.
Foliage?
Brushage. Yeah, foliage. I just make up my own words. Do you like that?
I like your words. They should be in the dictionary.
The kids and I, we make up our own words to everything at home too. It's funny. And Nick's like, what did you just say? I'm like,
My husband does that too. Caleb does. And I always say that's a Calebism.
yes, I love it. So I love to just kind of dot the trees, almost like scribbling, or like you're shaky a little bit and like shake them on the leaves. There's no really right or wrong way to do these leaves because they're shadows, or not shadows, but like a, what do they call that? See, I don't even know. Like my
It's a shadow. Like a shadow?
Yeah, it's not a shadow because a shadow is what's reflected on the ground. So like a profile? Not, I don't know. Somebody will comment and tell me.
A profile. Well, that makes sense.
It's not though. It's like a silhouette.
Oh my gosh, yes.
There it is, friends. Silhouette.
I couldn't think of it either, so.
Just like that.
I like that.
It's pretty, huh?
Yeah, it's very pretty.
I totally think this one was better than the one at the studio. Okay, so I'm gonna clean off my brush. Then I'm gonna do one more thing, and then I'm done, Erin. Can you believe it?
You are fast. Could be over here
I'm
still
gonna
trying to
take
paint
yellow.
right now.
You're doing good. I'm gonna take some yellow and some white again, mix that together, and I'm gonna brighten up the sun here. Make it nice bright yellow.
Oh, the sun is bright.
Yeah, make a little hue around it. that what they call that? A little sun hues?
Little sun rings around the sun.
Yeah. Make it a nice warm summer day.
Like today?
Yeah, like today is a
hot.
great day. Then I'm going to take that little rounded brush right there. And Erin, what do we have to do?
Own it.
We do. We have to own this. Every painting that you have, you need to own. The most important thing is to acknowledge that you're an artist, that you're super awesome at what you do, and that any creation you create is perfect. So I want you to own it. Just grab your brush and go down in the bottom, and I just throw my little initials on here, round them out, and boom, just like that, we're all done. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Erin, for hanging out
Thanks
with
for having me
me
again.
on the
Super
mask
fun.
painting show. And we will see you guys next week. Bye.
See ya.